the children, and he said, I want to learn to become a better parent. And he said to me, but mommy, I can go because I want to learn to become a better child. So, you know, it's so amazing that it thinks what they say.
Yes.
But, you know, those seminars have really been, you know, they've brought a lot of awareness to me.
Very
And,
much
and
so.
of also in the terms of what you can do to, you know, help to be a better parent, and methods that you can use to help your child also to become better listeners.
Yes, and just to add to that, I know that I spoke of the teachers acknowledging in the classroom that they're wrong, and there's a way to do it. But also as parents, we need to acknowledge when we're wrong and acknowledge it to the child, because again, it sends home the message that I can be wrong and I could still apologize. Whereas if I don't, they will go away with a view of us as parents that mommy or daddy never say they're sorry, they won't say they're wrong, because they will know what is wrong or what is right. And they will go away with an idea of you as an individual as not willing to say you're sorry. And so then why should I, as a child, say that I'm sorry? So we teach in a lot of the things that we do. In our interaction with each other, we do a lot of teaching, both as parents and as teachers. And that's very important to remember.
Right. So let's get back now to the different learning styles. As I mentioned earlier, we're talking about, of course, the child who could be a visual learner, an auditive learner, or through kinesthetics. You know, so how can teachers, because I'm not sure if many teachers have had the training as to how to determine what kind of a learner a child is, but how can they do that if they haven't had the training?
Okay. I think when we look around in our classrooms, there are different things that we recognize about the children. We would recognize those children who are quieter and who are very studious, and who will be the ones who take the notes and do the homework and bring it back, and it looks very wonderful. We would recognize those children in our classes who like to move around, who they like to be the ones who will act out for you what you said. There'll be those who will want to sing a song, they'll make a song, they'll be tapping on the desk just about, you know, the content of the lesson. Some will want to draw you a beautiful picture and present it to you. So I think even without the training, we can recognize that there are differences within our classrooms. If we were to group those children, then when I give you an assignment, and today we are looking at the courthouse. What does the courthouse mean to St. Martin? I may ask those who like to dance and sing, I would ask you to make a song for me about what the courthouse is. For others, I may ask you to make me a model of the courthouse, or draw a courthouse, or write a story about the courthouse. So what I'm doing right there, I'm taking into account the needs of the child. But I went at the higher end there. That's not the early childhood one, is it? So if I was to come down then to the early childhood level, we may have some things that we would color about the courtroom, the courthouse. There may be some things that I may let them listen to a song, and I'm sure there are local songs that speaks about different things on the island. I would let them listen to that and probably learn to sing that song. Some I may get them to cut out the shape of the courthouse and just write their initial on it, if they can cut and if they can do that. So I can recognize in the classroom that there are differences, and so I attend to those differences. Even at that young age, I recognize that as the children are growing up. But can I say also, Angelique, we have differences in our homes. We have children who have different learning styles in the homes, and the parents sometimes don't recognize that. Let's say, for instance, you have two sisters at home, and one is a person who likes to just sprawl out on the floor with their books and just do their work. And the other needs to sit at a desk where it's nice and quiet, and if they sit there, they will get their work done. The mother may say to the one sprawled out on the floor, why don't you go in and sit over there like your sister and do your work? How could you do your homework just sprawled out like that? You're not really doing any work. Or how could you have the television on? Or how could you have the radio on and you're doing your homework? Look at your sister. She's sitting there nice and quietly doing her homework. And there's an expectation that I would use the same strategy as my sister's using. But we're very different. If I had to sit there with no noise around me, I'm sitting in a hard chair in front of a hard desk, I'm very uncomfortable, but yet you expect me to concentrate. Whereas if I'm sprawled out on the floor and I have some background noise around me, I'm very comfortable and I could think better and do my work.
I want you to continue to elaborate on that, but you know, it's ironic hearing you talk about this, because still we're experiencing so many teachers in the school that does not recognize this, and I think they're stifling the children Because, for example, I have a nephew who tends to, you know, I guess he's one of those who really wants to be comfortable. And I have a colleague who worked at a Montessori, and she said to me, but he'll fit right in at Montessori, because at Montessori, we don't force them to keep on their shoes. He likes to take off his shoes. But this gets him in trouble, because at the school that he goes to, your shoes need to be on, and you need to, you know, so these are the things that I feel like, why aren't our teachers, you know, well, maybe is it like retraining to understand that there are children who probably need to be comfortable, and to be comfortable, they probably need their shoes off to be able to sit and do what they need to do. You know, and instead of labeling that child as being mischievous or not wanting to do their work along and get to understand that this child has a different learning style.
Yes.
So what can we do? Because I think it's really needed that some of our teachers really start recognizing that these kids are different and they need to be approached differently.
That's very true. I do agree with you. I do think that it's important for ongoing professional development to take place. I would hope that the school boards would make that a part of the ongoing development of all of its staff, whether it's a new teacher that's coming in, whether it's a teacher who's been there 5 to 10 years, whether it's a teacher who's been there 20 to 30 years. Make that an ongoing part of your development as a teacher. It must be mandatory that I attend a conference, that I read certain literatures about my profession to stay abreast, to learn what new research has come out, to learn what new strategies can help my children. There's so much going on out there in the world of education, both in research and in technology. So I think the school boards can help our teachers by making these things available, but also making some things mandatory, especially attending conferences or attending some kind of training. With the learning styles then, you would hear about, with the FBE training, that we did a lot of differentiation, but it's not always that the teacher will take back the training
Into the classroom.
into the classroom.
Keep that thought. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Man, I'm supposed to take my girl out to dinner this weekend. I'm so broke, man.
Man, I used to have those same problems, you know, but since I got my whip company card, when I take my lady out, I even get something back, you know.
Get something back, but you're a lucky fella.
I took your mind out the gutter, man. What I mean is, with whip company I get back 1% on every purchase I make. With this card, I can spend in guilders and use it throughout the Netherlands and TDs. Instead of paying 1% of the dollar credit card, now I get 1% back on every purchase I make at the end of the year.
What? I gotta get myself a company on card.
Man, but let's go.
Let me go. Man, now my lady's birthday gonna be a real celebration.
At least now with Whip Compaleon, I know you're gonna get something back.
The Web Compaleon credit card with limits as low as 500 guilders. You don't have to walk with cash, and it is accepted by practically all businesses. The Web Compaleon is the first guilder credit card that can be afforded by anyone.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, Saba, and Statia, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Welcome back to A Better Place. Miss Allen, we've talked so much about early childhood education and, of course, about the different learning styles. You know, we're coming to the end of our program, and I want to know, what would you like to share with the viewing audience before we do come to the end?
What I would like to say, firstly, to parents, that our children are all different. They are different in terms of their looks, their likes, and definitely how they learn. Try to find out about each child that you have and work with their differences. Don't work against them. Work with the difference to help them become all that they can be. To educators, what I would say, that within the 24 or 26 children that you have in your class for the 9 to 10 months that you may have them, they're all different. learn about their differences.
But before you continue, though, it must be very difficult for a teacher to learn about every single child, especially if it's 26 to 28 children within a class. You know, I've always thought that that number is quite a large number for a teacher to be able to handle. And now I know that FBE, one of the requirements is that they have an assistant teacher. So are we seeing that more within the classroom, that they have assistants to be able to give each and every child within the class what they deserve?
I think some schools, I can only speak for the Hillside Christian schools, where this year in particular, there are more teachers' assistants, but not all the classes have that. So what does one teacher do with 24 to 26
Yes.
children? It is a challenge, but I think because you have that much time, you can pace yourself and you can begin to observe. As you group them, you will get to know aspects about the child. Work with those things that you know are strengths. Try to work with their weaknesses as well and try to pull them up. You could look at how to pair them, what would make them do well, what would really be a challenge for them. You will get to know those children. Where you need extra help, ask for it. With the FBE came the student care coordinators, and I think that they're functioning as well in the schools. Maybe they're functioning better in some schools than in others, but use the resources that you have. Not all schools have remedial teachers, and sometimes within FBE we may say that we don't need it, but we still have a long way to go. Our children come in with various challenges. So look at the challenges, look at the differences, look at the personalities, draw from the resources that you have around you. But remember, in your classroom, you are your biggest resource. Use the internet, use research, use the books, do whatever you can to get to know these children. And once you do, you can turn their lives around for them to become something really, really great.
I want to thank you so much, Ms. Allen, for having been a part of A Better Place. You have brought us a wealth of information and knowledge pertaining to early childhood education, as well as to the various learning styles. I do know that parents and educators who have been watching the program have learned a lot, and I also hope that they would also incorporate what you have taught us here today into their daily lives. I want to thank you once again, and I do encourage you to continue with the good works that you're doing.
Thank you very much, Angelique.
And to you, the viewing audience, I want to thank you for having joined us once again on A Better Place. Stay tuned for our next program. I'm your host, Angelique Rumeau. Keep that thought, because we have to go to break.
Okay.
Stay tuned. We will be right back.